This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys. Good evening. Thanks again for joining this first session of the performance engineering. A quick introduction about me. This is Satish, uh, um, who is going to be your trainer for this engineering course for the next a month or so. And I have a experience of close to 14, 15 years in the IT, um, across various aspects of your SDLC, right from product development, product engineering, um, performance testing, performance engineering. So, I mean, pretty much across software delivery, I've been working in IT for the last 14, 15 years. Right. I also been part of Isha for last 3+ years, taking training across performance engineering, various performance testing tools, DevOps, Linux. So these are the various courses I've been working as a trainer with Isha for the last 3+ years. Okay, fine. So pretty much, I think most of you who have joined this uh, call today, I presume that you're all have some background in performance testing, or at least in a testing aspect, right? So you might be a performance tester, or you might be having some experience in testing, or you might be new to the software industry. So over from testing or performance testing or development, irrespective of that, this course is going to be tailored to cater to the uh, uh, most of the people who are at the beginner level, right? So you might be doing some level of performance engineering, or you might be having experience of 3, 4, 5 years of in performance testing, or even somebody's wanted to get into the performance area. That's how we have tailored this course, right? So throughout this course, or at least I mean today and tomorrow, whoever has joined, don't hesitate to ask any questions during the session or at the end of the session. If you have any questions, put it in the chat, or if there is any question, something related to the topic which I'm taking currently, you can unmute and ask questions. Okay. Don't ever think that whether this question is relevant or not. Don't think that what will other people will think. We are here to learn, so don't hesitate to ask any questions or any doubts, guys. Okay. So what I will do today is I'll go over the session topics, what we're going to learn in this course. For the first 15-20 minutes, I'll go over the course content. Okay. And then if you have any questions, we will spend some time. And then I'll probably, if time permits, I'll start with some of the topic today itself. Fine. I'll just go to the. I think you might have already got this link from in your WhatsApp group, right, or on email. So I'll use this to just go over the topics. Okay. Um, okay. So what we'll do is initially at the beginning we'll spend some time on getting some concepts around Java, JVM, and we'll try to get some hands-on in the some coding as well. The main reason for this is we are not going to become a developer. Okay, we don't need to have coding skills or development skills, because as a performance tester or performance engineer, we are not going to do that. Okay, but as a performance engineer, you're going to analyze performance problem, you're going to debug performance problem, and then you're going to go and talk to the developer, saying that you have an issue with your code, you have an issue with your method, with your object, with your a particular class, right? So as a performance tester, you will be going and reporting a problem with your page or a transaction. You will say there are so many errors. So you'll be talking more in terms of these terminologies, right? But now when with respect to the performance engineering, you will be doing the root cause analysis. You'll be finding out memory leaks or a CPU problem, right? And then when you go and talk to the developer, it should not be a black box for you. You should not feel that whether the developer will ask you any questions which we cannot answer. We want to break that um, uh, that initial barrier, right? We should first of all we should feel confident enough to go and discuss about the problem with the developers. So for that purpose, for that objective, we will go and do some kind of a very basic programming to understand what a developer will do with respect to a development, so that we know that okay, how the application structure is going to be, how application is going to get developed, what is class, what is method, what is object, how these are going to get assembled, how do we create a war file, how do we create a jar file, how it is getting deployed, how you start that server. So all these small things we should know, so that you will not have any such kind of assistance when you go report the problem to your developer. Okay, so initial few sessions we will focus on, we'll have something called think like a developer, where we'll go over these Java and JVM concepts, and then we'll go into the couple of programs, creating very small simple programs, nothing complicated. Our intention is to just get ourselves comfortable with the terminologies, and for you to get a view of how application is going to be there behind the scene with respect to the code. Okay, so any of you, whoever is there in the call, don't don't think that this is going to be rocket science, right? It's going to be very simple. We are not going to complicate things. So don't think that whether you will be able to do it or not. You can practice whatever I teach. You should be able to practice. Okay, I'm going to use all the tools and software which you can also install and use it. Pretty much mostly it's going to be an open source, or even if it is going to be a commercial like a Dynatrace, we'll be using Dynatrace, we'll be using AppDynamics, we'll be using JProfiler. All these tools are going to be commercial, but they're going to have a trial license as well for you to practice it. Okay. Yes, there's a question. Yes, this is related to the software quality assurance engineers for performance testing. That is correct. Okay, this is the performance engineering course. Okay, where we will be learning on top of performance testing. When you run a test, or when your application is given to you for performance, you have to make sure that your response time is optimized, there is no memory leak, in terms of monitoring, in terms of heap dump, thread dump, garbage collection analysis. All these things are going to be part of your performance engineering. So, to answer your question, yes, it is related to the performance engineering of software.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
have a
after,
question. Can I ask?
yeah, please go ahead.
So, these tools like JVM and JProfiler and all of this, it can be used on Java-based application. Let's say if we are working on Salesforce application and Salesforce usually does not expose some of the things, how can we apply JVM, JProfiler, etc. These
Okay.
tools?
See, there are two types. There are two types of things, right? One, what you are talking is more of a COTS product, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to these kind of COTS or a SaaS product, you will not be allowed to go and look into the what is happening behind the scene, because from a SaaS perspective, which means software as a service, right? Your Salesforce is going to host your application, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a end user, your organization, you no need to worry about whether the Salesforce is having a memory leak, or does it having a response time problem at the code level. It's their responsibility to make sure that it is going to be optimized, because you're going to just they're going to provide you a cloud URL, and your organization is going to use it. Okay, so as a consumer, you will not do performance engineering for Salesforce. You will be doing, probably you might be doing performance testing maybe. That also mostly Salesforce will certify you that your application is going to be scalable for these many users. Okay, that is from an end user perspective. If you are going to work for a Salesforce company itself, okay, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be part of a Salesforce organization, and there you will be able to understand the architecture of Salesforce, and then you will be able to do all these things. If a Salesforce is a Java based application, or if it could be a .NET, or it could be a Python, whatever it is for the COTS product. If you're going to be part of the that product team itself, then all these things are applicable. But mostly as a consumer, right, you're going to use a Salesforce as an end user. Your organization is going to use it. We might not do the engineering for those applications.
Yeah, but this SaaS product Salesforce application is also using legacy architecture and some backend systems that's developed, which is not necessarily Salesforce part, right? And we do performance testing for end-to-end application, which runs on Salesforce. And Salesforce effectively is not really doing performance engineering like we were saying that it's their responsibility, but doesn't look like they are. So it's more like an architecture where different things are put together, and our team runs the performance testing. And we are required to do the performance engineering as well. So it's kind of, is it little tricky or doable?
I need to spend time to explain you that. Okay,
Mhm.
what we can do is, since it is very specific for your project or your architecture, right? I can take it
Uh-huh.
this offline. I
Sure.
can explain you, ma'am. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. What you can do is you can send me a voice note in detail.
Okay.
Okay, I'll try to respond, and then depending upon your availability, we can connect sometime tomorrow.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, hi
Okay.
Satish.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have a
Hi.
doubt. So
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
do we get the hands-on while doing this session?
Okay, when you say hands on, what I would need you is I want you to install a basic softwares in your laptop. Okay, so we
Okay,
don't have a lab where you will get an access, but I will provide you all the softwares tools that is required for you to do an hands on. Okay, so I have a drive where you will give an access from which you can install or we can download the all the softwares that is required for the and so on. Few are going to be available in my drive. Few I'll give you a link from where you can download. But pretty much, so all the softwares, all the application war files, documents, everything is going to be available in this Google Drive, which you will get an access. Okay.
okay, got it.
From a hands-on perspective, you would need to do it in your laptop by installing these softwares. But whatever I do it, you should be able to do it very easily, because nothing is something I have a licensed one which you cannot use it. Right from JProfiler or your Tomcat or your AppDynamics or a Dynatrace, whatever I use it, you would be able to use it on your mission.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
So it's very, very highly advisable that you at least do once hands on for whatever you learn in the session next day, or during the weekday. Since it's going to be weekend, you can at least take time to do it in the weekdays and then complete whatever I do it in the weekend or the weekday.
Thank you, Satish.
Satish?
Sure. Sure. Okay.
Satish?
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, hi Satish. So
Yeah,
I
go
have a
ahead.
similar doubt which were previously someone have asked regarding the SaaS-based
Hey,
application.
can
So
you please a little bit loud,
um,
sir?
yeah. So I have a similar question which someone have asked before regarding the SaaS-based application. Asked also the SaaS-based application. So regarding that, I need to discuss with you. Um, can you put me in that offline call with you?
Yes, yes, yes. For a SaaS-based application, what is the role of performance
Yeah,
tester or
but
role of performance
it's
engineer?
not Salesforce application. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Salesforce application, but the other thing.
Sure, sure, sure. For SaaS-based application, what is our role as a performance tester or engineer? I will explain you definitely.
Exactly. It's not.
Sure. Okay, fine. So I'll move on, right? So what we will also do is we will be using a application. I'll just start the application as well, which is in my mission. Most of the time, I'll be using that e-library application for our engineering. Okay, I'll also provide this Tomcat to you and the war file, this e-library war file, which you can set it up in your mission. It's very easy to set up this in your mission. Why we need is we cannot use the application that is running in the website, in your internet, right? I cannot use the flipkart.com, or I cannot use amazon.com, I cannot use the pet store, because from an engineering perspective I want to look into the application at the code level, at the class level, which means I should have the application running in my mission, right? So you need to have your own Tomcat and the application in your laptop, which I will help you to set it up. Okay, it's very simple. I will tell you what to do it. I'll send you a video through which you can easily set up that in your laptop. Okay, so you need to download this Tomcat from the this drive. If you go to this drive, here you will have a Tomcat folder. This Tomcat zip file, download and extract it. Okay, once you unzip it, you will get this folder. Okay, in that you will have a war file already present. Okay, just go to the Tomcat, go to the bin, and then do a startup. So which means it's very simple. Just a one single click, your application will get started. Okay, once it is started, you will be able to access it from the browser. Open the browser and then go to the local host and then log in. So this application will be using it for our the engineering, in terms of response time profiling, in terms of memory leak analysis, running few thread analysis, garbage collection analysis. Everything will be using this application. So this has an admin login where you'll be able to go and view the librarians, and then you can add a librarian and you can do a logout, and again you can log in as a librarian from the home page. The database is not connected, so it is not giving any data. I'll connect that, make it available for tomorrow, and you can add a librarian as well. Okay, there are going to be a couple of such features available for you to do the scripting, and then you, okay, so added a logout, and you'll also have a librarian login. Okay, and you can log in here. Here you will have a add book, remove book, and then so whatever a librarian will do with a book, he can lend the book. All these things are going to be available within this librarian login. Okay, so this is something you will be able to install it in your machine, and whoever is thinks that I'm not technical, I don't know these things to do it, don't even think that like that. Once you do it, it's very easy. Okay, it's just like installing a very simple software in your machine. Okay, no complication, you will be able to easily do it by yourself. First thing what you should come out of that mindset is whether I will be able to do it or not. Okay, once you come out of that, performance engineering is going to be easy for you. Engineering is all about analysis. You will not get an answer. Okay, you will end up not even getting an answer. Sometimes in your project there will be a response time problem, you'll be analyzing it. Sometimes you will not be able to find out. Not only you, it's me, everybody. When it comes to a problem, you will analyze it, you might end up with some conclusion, and sometimes it will be inconclusive as well. Okay, so don't think that whether you'll be able to do this engineering or not. It is not a rocket science, it's very much easy. Okay, mostly everything is all tool driven. Nobody in the world will be able to do something without tools at all. Being an architect or any senior people, they will need Dynatrace, they will need AppDynamics, they will need a JProfiler. You should know how to use this tool. For that, you should do some hands-on, and then put some effort on that. But it is not complicated at all. Okay, so have that mindset, and then come to the course, and I am there to help you out. Okay, So with this application, what you'll do is you can think that you are a performance engineer. You're going to work on this e-library application. That is how we will handle this. Okay, you are a performance engineer. You're going to look into this e-library application, and then as a performance engineer, right? There are two things we will do it. Okay, if I go to the this SDLC, there are two things you will do it. Okay, one during the testing stage and before the testing stage and after the testing stage. So three things. During testing, as a performance engineer, you have some role. Before testing, you have some role. After testing, you have some role. Okay, so before testing, your role is to make sure that your application, a particular functionality, is properly optimized. You take each and every functionality, like you take login, you take logout, you take a add librarian, you take view librarian. Each and every functionality, whether it is response time is optimal, whether the memory consumption is optimal for a single user. It's not under load. Okay, a profiling is always for a single user. CPU profiling or memory profiling is always one user. For a one user, whether my response time is good. If it is not good, why it is not good? Is it a problem at the client side or at the server side? If it is a server side, whether it is a problem at the particular class, a method, or a query. Similarly, when it comes to memory, whether the memory consumption is good, the heap consumption is good, whether there is any memory leak. If the memory leak is there, where it is leaking, which method, which object is leaking. All this is what, as a performance engineer, you have to analyze before going into a. Okay, so that is the first thing we will when we start the engineering session. Okay, CPU profiling and response time analysis, we will do it using JProfiler for a application, for a login, or for a add librarian, or for a view librarian. One of the transaction we will take it, and then we will see whether the response time good or not. And then if it is bad, we will go and analyze it, and then find out the bottlenecks for response time. Similarly for memory as well. So remember that as a performance engineer, we just not going to do a load testing and then provide a performance engineer. Okay, means more relevant in a project. As a tester, you will be contributing only towards creating a script, executing it, and analyzing it, right? Which means in a 1 year project, you might be involved only in 2 months or 3 months. But as a performance engineer, you will be involved right from your development stage. As a developer develops an functionality, it could be a page, it could be a API, it could be a very small component. Analyzing the functionality for performance, doing this profiling, right? And then you go to the testing stage where you might create a script, or a performance system will create a script. And while doing the execution, you will monitor the application. If there's a problem with the heap, you will take heap dump and analyze a heap dump, or a problem with your thread, you'll do a thread dump and analyze it. Garbage collection analysis, all these things, as a performance engineer, you will do it. And when it goes to production, even in production, we have to monitor. There are monitoring, reliability, all these things. So pretty much shift left, shift right, and testing, as a performance engineer, you will do. So your scope, your relevancy, your applicability of a you in a high compared to a performance tester. Okay, see, might all been hearing about LLMs and GenAI, right? With this invention of GenAI, lot of scripting is going to get automated. Okay, it's already. We will. You will also have a session at the end, introduction to GenAI, LLM, prompt engineering, how a Jmeter script or case script can be created using GenAI. Introduction to that, I will cover it. So which means it's so more and more important for you to expand your knowledge on the other aspect of your testing, which is your engineering. Okay, what is shift left and shift right? Okay, so testing is our main focus, right? So testing, normally what we do, For example, December 2nd week is my production deployment. What I will do, third week or fourth week, I'll go and do a load testing. Okay, and then I'll provide the report. There might be a performance problem, and developer will you will find out problem. Developer have to fix it. Again, you have to test it, which means it might not go to the production as planned. Right now, shift left is you're shifting your activity to the left, moving the testing or your that is a shift left. Doing this profiling, analyzing your performance problems, finding out performance bottleneck early. Shift left. Shift right is, as a performance engineer, you should also go to the right side of your, okay, and then look into the production data, look into the production behavior, analyze one in production, and provide that feedback. Say probably in production there might be some additional load coming to a particular service which you might not be covering in the load test. So those things you should analyze and then take that input for your testing. That is a shift left, shift right. What is there left hand side of your testing? What is there in the right hand side of your testing? That is a shift left and shift right. Hope you got the answer. Okay. Now coming back to the topic, to the content. So we'll start with the CPU profiling um, uh, e-library application. Is voice breaking? I mean, everybody have any problem with my voice?
Yes, your voice is breaking.
Oh, connect to my another network. Is it audible now? Is it clear?
We are getting echo.
Okay, I'll continue. If you guys have any problem, let me know.
Sure.
Can anybody confirm me in the audio? Anyway, unmute and confirm me whether it is okay for now.
Actually, it's okay, but we are getting echo.
Kind of echo is coming.
Okay, once again, I have muted it. Okay, is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I have connected from my mobile audio. Hope you should be better. Yeah, thanks. Okay, now as we move on to the response time, right, we will also go and learn in detail about the client-side performance. What is client-side performance, and then why it is required. And we do this load testing, but why the client-side analysis is also important. We will go and look into a couple of important metrics like your paint timings, time to first byte, your load time, page size, all these things from our client side. We will go and learn how to do it, and then why to do it. And from an engineering perspective, we will try to see how to optimize your client side. Right, a couple of important recommendations in terms of minification, in terms of compression, caching, all these things we will learn from a client side perspective. Okay, then we're going to have some series of topics on memory. Okay, we'll learn some memory concepts from a heap perspective, stack perspective. Both heap and stack are something very common in not only in Java. Even you take .NET or Python. Pretty much these things are going to be in common. Little bit changes here and there. So we'll go and learn the heap and stack, and then we'll go into the leak analysis, memory leak analysis for the e-library application. Okay, so from a profiling perspective, you will do a leak analysis. When it comes to a load testing, we are going to do a load testing, and when you see a memory problem, you take a heap dump. Okay, so both we will learn from a single user leak analysis using JProfiler, and then during a load test, you take a heap dump, how to take a heap dump, when to take a heap dump, how to analyze the heap dump. All these things we will learn from a memory perspective. Okay, and then we will go into the garbage collection, concepts of garbage collection. What are the various components in garbage collection? What are the various collectors available? What is the difference? When to use which collector? Your young generations, old generation, and then how to tune the garbage collection with available GC flags. All these things from a memory perspective we will learn. Okay, so when it comes to any application, right, it is going to be CPU, memory, thread. These are three variables, because if you closely look into it, even if a laptop, okay, whatever laptop you have connected, it is going to have a RAM, it is going to have a CPU, right? And then it is going to handle multiple application software. So you're going to have a multi-thread concepts, right? So anything you talk about, it's going to consume CPU, it is going to consume memory, and there are going to be thread to handle the task. Okay, so when you talk about performance engineering, our objective is to make sure that your CPU is consumption is optimal, your memory consumption is optimal, your thread utilization is optimal. That is the only thing we need to make sure. Okay, CPU, thread, response times are interrelated. Okay, I'll talk about all these things when we come to benchmarking, right? I'll be talking this in detail. But for you to keep it very simple, as a performance engineer, you need to reduce response time. When you reduce the response time, your thread will finish the work very fast. Okay, when a thread is going to finish the work fast, your CPU consumption is going to be less. Okay, so response time, you need to reduce it. If you reduce the response time, your thread will finish the task early, which means your CPU is going to be less. That is one component. Second component is your memory. Okay, your laptop is going to have only 8 GB or 16 GB, right? Out of that, your application will be given with some 2 GB or 4 GB. Always there is going to be a boundary, right? That's going to be upper limit. So ideally, your application should be a functionality. Any functionality you take it, you should not consume more memory, or there should not be any memory leak. You will learn what is memory leak when you go into the session. So memory consumption should be optimal. That is what we are trying to do it using from the engineering perspective. As a shift left from a performance engineering, we'll make sure that your memory consumption is less, there is no memory leaks, your response time is going to be optimal. By doing this, we are making sure that your capacity is going to get increased. When you make sure that every functionality is going to consume lesser CPU, lesser memory, then your overall capacity is going to improve. Okay, don't worry about this theoretical thing. When you go and learn this practically, you will be able to easily understand. But I just wanted to tell you, our main objective is to optimize your CPU, optimize your memory, because these are the two things that will define your overall capacity. Okay, just think that in your laptop, after you open 10 applications, right, you will open Excel, PowerPoint, you'll open Chrome, you'll open the other softwares. As you keep on opening it, right, your laptop will become slow, because it is all applications are going to consume CPU, all applications are going to consume memory, right? So our objective is to, if these applications are not going to consume a lot of CPU, a lot of memory, then you can open many more such applications, right? So that's a simple factor for the application as well. Every functionality, login, logout, add librarian, view librarian, every functionality, if it's going to consume less CPU, less memory, then I can from one single server, I can make access 100 or 200, 300 logins or 300 add librarians. Okay, so we'll learn all these things in detail, but this is just for you to just get a very simple view of why we need to do a performance engineering. We have to do a performance engineering to optimize your CPU, to optimize your memory, so that your capacity is going to be improved. Okay, fine. Back to the topic. From memory, we'll go to the thread. Okay, what are threats? What are threat contention? What are the various types of threat contention? How to take threat dump? When to take threat dump? How to analyze the threat dumps? All these things we will learn it from the threat analysis session. Okay, so now you would have done the CPU analysis, you would have done the memory analysis, you would have done the thread analysis. Now, after doing all these things, then we will go into the JVM benchmarking. Okay, what is benchmarking? Why we have to do the benchmarking? What is the output of the benchmarking? Okay, all these things we will learn it. That's very important because JVM tuning, you as a performance engineer have to arrive at what is my minimum heap, what is my maximum heap, what is the minimum thread, what is the maximum thread. Okay, all these things you have to configure it. For that, you have to do this benchmarking. Okay, so we'll learn what is benchmarking, how do we do it. And other very important topic is monitoring strategy. Okay, in many other projects, what we do, somebody will provide the monitoring tool, you will access it, and you will provide the report, right? But as a performance engineer, you have to create a strategy for that. Similar to a testing strategy, you have to create a monitoring strategy. For your architecture, it might have a database, it might have a middleware, it might have a Java component, it can have a Python component, it can have a Kafka, it can have other software components. For whatever software components that are in scope under your project, right? You should be able to monitor every component. You should have a complete observability for every component. Okay, so you should know what is architecture, you should know what are the components, and then we will go, you have to go and look for what is what monitoring tool is available for each of the component, and you should get the access, and then you should be able to monitor it during the load test. Okay, as a performance engineer, we have to make sure that your monitoring is available for every component in your architecture, so that if there's a problem, you should be able to pinpoint. Okay, see, we spend a lot of time in scripting, we spend a lot of time in execution. Okay, but why we are doing it? To observe problems, to identify problems. Your responsibility is not just to look into the response time. Okay, response time is also one important aspect, but similarly the other side is also very important, which is nothing but your CPU, memory, thread, for all the components. Okay, so we'll also learn how to create the monitoring strategy, and we'll, from a monitoring tool perspective, we will look into one of the popular open source infrastructure monitoring tool called Telegraph and Grafana. Okay, and from a commercial tool perspective, we'll go and connect our e-library application, this application with AppDynamics. So this is AppDynamics, which is connected to the e-library application. Okay, the application which is running in my laptop is connected to the AppDynamics cloud. Okay, so through this we will be able to monitor and then analyze, troubleshoot response time problem. Your you will be able to monitor the heap, garbage collection, your GC time, minor GC, your major GC, and then your thread consumption, database calls, remote services, troubleshooting a problem, all troubleshooting response time problem, all you'd be able to do it in your through the APM tool called AppDynamics. Okay, so we'll use both AppDynamics and Dynatrace for our engineering. Okay, so all these things are going to be part of your from a monitoring topic. Okay, and then from there we will move on to the database. Okay, as like an application, database performance is also important, but only difference is we are not going to be a database performance engineer. We are not going to be a DBS. Okay, database will be owned by DBS. Like application, where we will be able to go and profile it, we'll be going and configure the CPU or memory, thread. But here in database, we will not be allowed to do it at all. Okay, it is going to be done by DBS or their own database performance engineer. Our role is to go and analyze the SQL queries, analyze few aspects like your caching efficiency or your parsing efficiency. You will learn what are those specific parameters. As application performance engineer, we will go and learn a database performance. We will try to understand how to take AWR reports, how to analyze the AWR reports, what is parsing efficiency, what is hard parsing, what is soft parsing, what is buffer cache hit ratio. All these things we will learn from a database perspective. Okay. And after doing all these things, we'll go and learn how to create a non-functional requirement, how to create a non-functional engineering strategy. Okay, because NFR, non-functional requirement, is very, very important. At the beginning, if you don't do that requirement properly, if you don't collect all the critical transactions, your business critical transactions, or your technically complicated functionalities, memory consuming functionalities, you should go and talk to your developers, talk to your business, and gather the non-functional requirements. We'll go and learn how to analyze a non-functional requirement, how to create the engineering strategy as well. Okay. Then we'll move on to a couple of very important current trend. Okay, from an engineering perspective, we'll go and look into introduction to the cloud, and then there are a lot of myths around in cloud. We don't need to do performance testing. Okay, I think there was a question around SaaS as well, right? So I'll explain you what is our role when it comes to application hosted in a cloud. There can be a couple of things. It can be application deployed in the cloud, or it can be a SaaS product. So we'll go and understand how do we approach these cloud-based application performance testing and engineering. What tools are available? What is chaos engineering? What is resiliency engineering? And how to do this all from an introduction perspective. I will make you understand this topic and how to go about these testing, like chaos testing. Okay, and you will also get an access to videos on the day one itself. After you got registered, you will get an additional videos on couple of topics. One from the performance testing in DevOps. Okay, how to what are the important aspects you should consider when making a performance testing in DevOps in Jenkins, how to integrate Jmeter with Jenkins, what are the best practices you have to follow to make your performance testing to run properly in the pipeline. And then there's something called Linux for performance tester as well. That video also will get it, because a lot of things we will do it in Linux, okay, not in the Windows machine. But for our training, we'll use Windows. But in mostly in your project, your application is going to be deployed in a Linux. So you should know how to use Linux box, how to navigate through, how to do monitoring using Linux commands, how to install, say, Jmeter in Linux. All these things, there is a 7 to 8 hour separate video for Linux itself, for which you will get an access. Okay, so those things you will get in the initially itself, so that you can go through that, and if you have any doubts, you can ask in the sessions. Okay, and at the end, we'll also go and look into a couple of other aspects. Okay, see, pretty much we will learn Java, because Java is there in every enterprise application. Java is still going to be there, very relevant Java, and in a lot of interviews, you will get questions around Java performance engineering only. Okay, and but in architecture, you will have Python, you will have .NET as well, right? So from that perspective, you will go and learn more from a high level overview or introduction. We will go and look into .NET architecture, Python architecture, how it is different from Java, what tools we will use it for profiling when it comes to .NET or your Python. We'll also go and do some hands-on practical things of profiling for both Python application and as well as your .NET application, so that you will know what you can do when you have such kind of application in scope in your project as well. And at the end, we'll go and look into the very popular topic now in the current industry, your GenAI chatbot, your ChatGPT. What is your large language model? What are the use case for performance testing and engineering? That is very important. Okay, GenAI is there. How I am going to use it for my performance testing or for my performance engineering. Okay, those use cases and how you should approach it, that also I will explain as part of this course. Okay, fine. I'll pass it here, guys. If you guys have any questions on the topics, feel free to unmute and ask questions. I'll again, to reiterate, these recordings, right? These recordings will be available the next day. Okay, for example, today is Saturday evening, right? So today's topic and tomorrow's topic together, the recorded video will be available on Monday morning IST. Okay, so after every weekend session, the video will be uploaded to the YouTube private channel, and then you will be able to get that recorded video on the Monday morning IST. Okay, and these recordings are going to be available for you forever. Okay, once you register it, you will get an access. Okay, that is number one. Number two, you will get this drive access once you registered. Okay, which will have all the software for you to download and install it. Okay, and for any questions related to the topics or the course, you can reach out to me. Okay, and then any questions related to the payment or registration, you can reach out to Kumar sir. Okay. Yeah, so I'll take a pass here, guys. If any of you have any questions. Okay, which PT tools will be using during the session? See, PT tool, I'll be using Jmeter. Okay, I'll be using Jmeter to run some test so that I can monitor it. I can do analysis. I can take ETM. I can take threadum. So I'll be using Jmeter. But just please note that I'll not be going and explaining what is Jmeter and how to create scripts. We'll be creating scripts. I'll give the scripts also to you, but we'll not go in detail about the parameterization or correlation or how to use a Jmeter. That we will not go into it. If you have any questions around it, I can help you offline, but that is not going to be part of the course. Okay, there's another question. Postgres DB tuning. See, okay, whatever I mentioned in the course, that is what we are going to learn. Okay, because if you see, obviously there are going to be n number of databases, right? You will have NoSQL databases, you have vector databases, you have like you said, Postgres is there. A lot of databases are there. We cannot go and look into it everything. But what I can do is, if you have very specific questions, I can probably try to get you details offline. But we might not be able to cover it during the session because covering everything is within that stipulated number of hours is not going to be possible. So Postgres is something I'll not be able to cover, but offline I can try to gather some information and give it to you.
So overall, how many hours of session will be there? Like it will be like
Okay,
1.5
so
hours.
yeah, in around usually it is going to be 24-25 hours of session. That is how it usually it will be, plus or minus 1 or 2. So which means since it's a weekend course and a 2-hour course, you can just think that yeah, overall it is going to be 24, 23, 25 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need to know Jmeter and Java LoadRunner? No, you don't need to know Jmeter. You don't need to know Java. You don't need to know LoadRunner. We are not going to go into that at all. Java, I will explain you from performance engineering perspective. I'll explain you. That should be good enough. So you don't need to know Java. You don't need to know Jmeter or LoadRunner for engineering. For client-side analysis, which tool we are going to use it? For client-side analysis, we will be using the developer tool only. Okay, we will learn metrics, we'll learn what needs to be analyzed, and we'll be using the developer tool. There are many tools available, like Rigor. You will have Site 24/7. You will have what is, you can do the client-side analysis in the AppDynamics itself or Dynatrace itself. Okay, but our focus will be on performance engineering, how to optimize the page, and we'll use the developer tool for gathering these metrics. APM tool, yes, definitely. As I said, right, both AppDynamics. So whatever I showed you is the APM tool. Okay, what I'm showed you this app. This is AppDynamics. This and Dynatrace. Both you will learn from an APM perspective.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, when it comes to engineering, APM is going to be a vital component from an engineering perspective. So yes, you will learn the APM tool as well.
Thank you, Satya.
Sure. Will you explain the types of DBs and servers? Types of DBs and server, it is not there in the topic, but if you think that you need that information, I can definitely explain you maybe in one of the session, or I can probably provide you details offline, right? From a performance perspective, I can explain you. See, from a database perspective, with currently, right, you have SQL database, you have NoSQL database, you have GraphDB, you have VectorDB. Now with all these analytics, GenAI, right? This VectorDB and GraphDBs and all getting very popular. So I can tell you what types of DBs are there, what types of servers are there. Not part of the topic. Maybe sometime during a session or maybe offline, I can give you a detailed note on these things. Okay. So as I said, right, this course we can cover. There's no boundary at all. Okay, there's a lot of things to learn, obviously, but we have tailored this course in such a way that if you are a performance tester, wanted to move to performance engineering, you would be able to achieve that target without overcomplicating it. Or if you are if you're not a performance tester, or if you're just a automation tester wanted to get into performance, or if you're a developer, or if you're new to software, for them as well, this is going to be easy for them to learn the performance and performance engineering, because we're not going to go into the testing at all. We're not going to go into the Jmeter or LoadRunner at all, right? It is more about performance of your software, performance engineering of your software. So for meeting both the audience, this is pretty much tailored, and yeah, from this objective is what we have tailored this course. So yeah, deviating from that, adding more and more topic, right, it will impact the main objective. So if you have anything apart from this, if you want any other information, you can just drop me a voice note. I can definitely send you the related details to you offline. Okay, good question. The P we learn is for on-premise or for cloud. Okay, see, your application performance engineering is what we are going to learn. Okay, application can be deployed in my laptop. It can be deployed in your machine. It can be deployed in on-prem. It can be deployed in a data center. It can be in the cloud also. So when you say cloud is nothing but somebody is going to have a very huge space in which they have all these physical machines, which they are renting it out, right? And then you connect remotely, and then you are installing your application. It is as simple as that, right? So which means application performance engineering, be it is client-side profiling or your CPU profiling, memory leak analysis, heap dump, thread dump, database analysis, monitoring, benchmarking, all these things are pretty much same, whether the application is going to go hosted in my laptop or in on-prem or in the cloud machine. Nothing is going to change. Okay, only thing is now with cloud, you have containers, you have Kubernetes, you have pods. The way you deploy your application in these architecture is going to make few things different when it comes to monitoring and configuration. That's it. But when it comes to engineering, it's not going to 95%. It's going to be pretty much same only. Underlying thing is going to be still your Java application or a .NET application or a Python application, which will consume CPU, which will consume memory, which will consume thread, and there are going to be a problem. We have to analyze those problems. What are the open source tools we're going through the session? Okay, from a monitoring perspective, we will use Telegraph, InfluxDB, and Grafana. That's one of the open source monitoring tool. We will use it and learn it. Other tools are, when it comes to engineering, right? Unfortunately, we have to rely on the commercial tools. Okay, so JProfiler, your AppDynamics, Dynatrace. We'll use your dot memory or dot trace for .NET. All these things are all commercial only, but you can use it for your learning, because there are trial licenses available for you to install and learn it. In your organization also, you have to use these tools for doing a proper performance engineering. Your team has to invest money for that. It's not going to be huge money. The profiling tools are all very less only. Cost wise it is less. But when it comes to APM tools like AppDynamics, Dynatrace, it is going to be costly. But you don't have a choice, because in production, definitely you should have these kind of good commercial tools, which has to be extended for the performance testing as well. But to answer your question, from an open source perspective, we'll use Jmeter. We'll also use the InfluxDB, Telegraph, Grafana from a monitoring perspective. Commercial tools, we'll be using JProfiler, we'll be using AppDynamics, Dynatrace, and also DotTrace from a .NET perspective. Yes, see, installation, right? You from the AppDynamics or Dynatrace, you are not going to install it. You're not going to configure it. There are going to be admins, APM tool admins are going to do it. Even with this AppDynamics, right? Whatever I have configured, this is a SaaS account. Okay, AppDynamics provides a cloud account for you. What I've done is I've done a very simple configuration. I've just installed a agent in my machine to connect my e-library application, which is running in my application, to the cloud. That alone you need to know it. If at all you wanted to use AppDynamics in your project and you have to use it for your own mission or your own server, that configuration alone you have to do it, which is going to be very simple. But the entire AppDynamics or Dynatrace, you will not install it. It's not our responsibility. Okay. See, Jmeter, you will install it. It's a very simple thing. LoadRunner controller also, you will install it. But LoadRunner Enterprise or Performance Center and all, I don't think you performance testing team will install it. Okay, it's because there are many components when it comes to Performance Center. It's not easy installation, I know. It will be done by the admins only. Similarly, for engineering perspective, AppDynamics Dynatrace will be done by the admins, but the small tools like JProfiler and all, we will install it. That's very simple. I will show you how to install it. JProfiler, your DotTrace, or your JConsole, all these tools, it's very easy to install like Jmeter. Okay, so all the profiling tool we will install it, but big commercial tool like AppDynamics, Dynatrace, Performance Center and all, it has to be done by the respective admins only. Integrating Grafana, yes, I will teach you how to integrate Grafana with Telegraph, and even if you're interested to know how to integrate with Jmeter with the Grafana, that also I can explain you offline. Jmeter with the Grafana I can explain you offline, or I can send you some videos also. My own videos I can send it. But integrating for my monitoring to collect your CPU, memory of your Windows machine or Linux machine. For that, I will tell you how to do it. Integrate your Grafana with Telegraph. Okay, fine, guys. So since it is a first demo session, we'll just have it for 1 hour today. From tomorrow mostly we'll go with the 2 hours, and from next week definitely it is going to be 2 hours, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. IST. Okay. If you guys have any questions, again, as I said earlier, during the session also, we are here to learn. We are going to spend time and we have to learn. So don't ever hesitate to ask questions. Don't think that some other person will think anything about you. We don't, by person, by face, we don't know anybody at all, right? It's all just XYZ. So don't even think what somebody is going to think about it. Okay. Topic around the performance engineering, whatever we are learning, you can ask any question, any dumb question is also okay. Don't even think that whether it's a silly questions or not. Okay, don't hesitate at all. It has to be an interactive session. You ask question, I will explain, you learn. If it is going to benefit you, that is what we need. Okay. Tomorrow as well, if you guys have any questions on, okay, is it relevant for me, will it be able to learn it, send me a voice note I'll reply back, or we can connect virtually whenever we are available. We can connect over the WhatsApp as well. I'll drop my number in the WhatsApp group so that you can send me a separate message. If you have any questions around enrollment, reach out to Kumar sir or WhatsApp admins. Okay, anything around the course sessions topics, reach out to me. Session recording will be available, as I said, on Monday morning IST. They will upload it to the YouTube, and you'll get an access to the YouTube recordings. Okay, I'll stop it here, guys. We'll meet again tomorrow. From tomorrow, we will get started with our session. Tomorrow will be a day 1, so we'll get started. We'll meet you all tomorrow. And again, as I said, for any payment registration, reach out to Kumar sir or the WhatsApp admins. Anything related to the course content or topics, just send me a message. I'll be able to answer you. Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the time, and we'll meet tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.